Today is release day for this book right here, Secrets to Selling Books on Social Media. So, in celebration of release day, I am going to be doing a video that's kind of on one of the chapters that's in this book, so you guys can get a taste of what you can expect from this book. This book is co-written by myself and Bethany Etzazeta, and then not only is this book releasing today, but in 2 weeks, the next book in the series, Plan a Profitable Book Launch, is also releasing. So today, make sure to order this book, pre-order the next book, and let's talk about what we'll be going over today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the ultimate goal for being an author on social media, and that is to sell your book to potential readers. We'll go over the different benefits of certain social media platforms so you can find the platform that is best for you, and we are going to answer the age-old question, which social media platform is best for writers and authors? Hello everyone, my name is Mandi Lynn. I'm an author, book cover designer, and the creator of the Book Launch Planner. And like I said, today we're going to be talking about which social media platforms are best for writers. Now before we can say which one is the best social media platform, we need to get something out of the way. And that is, when you're an author on social media, your goal should not be to grow a following, but to grow a readership. And by that, I mean followers does not equal sales. That is something Bethany and I talk about over and over in this book. I think sometimes authors get so focused on growing their social media platform that they forget the end goal, which is to sell books. Now, you may think, well, Mandi, it's better to have 10,000 followers than it is 1,000 followers because you have more people to sell to. However, if those 10,000 followers aren't loyal followers, it doesn't matter because you won't be making the book sales anyways. So in this book, and just in general, you should be focusing on growing a loyal following who actually care about your book. That way the people that follow you are interested in the books you write and they want to write reviews on Amazon and online retailers. Now, when it comes to social media, we've got a lot of options. We have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, and Goodreads. There's a few others, but I feel like these are the most prevalent for authors, and they're the ones we're going to be talking about today. First things first is Instagram. Now, Instagram is one of my favorites. It is a picture-based sharing platform. However, they very recently announced they're no longer a picture-based sharing platform, and they're kind of leaning towards more TikTok style, which again, we'll also be talking about. But on Instagram, you can post photos, you can post videos, you can post reels, you can post stories. There's a lot going on Instagram, and they're constantly expanding it. So that's maybe one of the trickiest things of Instagram, is that they are an ever-growing and evolving platform. So if you choose to be on Instagram, you kind of got to be on top of your game. Now, one of the benefits of Instagram is that if you write young adult, there is a huge community there that is eager to find and discover new young adult stories. Specifically, we have hashtag Bookstagram, which is people who just take photos of their books with different layouts, and the photos are beautiful, they're aesthetically pleasing, it's amazing. So the young adult reading community there is huge, and it's a great thing to tap in if you're an author who writes young adult. Next up, we have Twitter. Now, Twitter's very different. It is more micro-blogging style. I first heard the term of micro-blogging when I was in college, and basically it's like writing blog posts, but they're extremely, extremely short. On Twitter, stuff like photos and video isn't super important, where it is necessary for Instagram. Twitter is extremely text-based. You kind of just are constantly putting out content. You know, Instagram, you can post once a day and you'd be fine. But on Twitter, you need to post multiple times a day in order to be relevant. There's actually a huge community on Twitter for the traditional publishing world. This could be to find an agent for your book or just to learn about the publishing industry as a whole. That is huge on Twitter. That's probably one of the bigger portions of Twitter, but it's ever shifting, so I don't know if it will always stay that way, but I've always found Twitter to be more writer focused rather than reader focused, but that could just be my, what I've observed. Next up, we have Facebook. Now, Facebook is probably the most different. It's one of the oldest platforms that we have on this list today. And Facebook, because it's the oldest platform, tends to have a little bit of an older demographic. Now, this isn't a bad thing, because if you write novels that are adult or fiction, or sometimes even nonfiction does really well on Facebook, that is your ideal demographic. However, Facebook is notorious for being pay to play, which basically means if you want your posts to be seen on Facebook, you have to promote it by paying Facebook, and you're basically running ads of your posts in order to get seen. So that's why a lot of people, as business owners and people who have a Facebook business page, don't enjoy using Facebook because it's really hard to get your content seen. Next, we have YouTube. We are here on YouTube right now if you're watching this video. It is my personal favorite, and the young adult community is really, really strong here on YouTube. In fact, the community specifically for readers is called BookTube. It's people who just make videos about reading books. I make videos about writing books, so it's slightly different, but there are videos about just reading books, reading vlogs, reading hauls, all those types of videos, and they are great ways to reach that reader audience, whether you yourself are making booktube videos or you reach out to booktubers to try to get them to read and review their book and a chance to feature it on their channel. The important thing about YouTube that's very different from all the other social media platforms that we talked about today, YouTube is a search engine, whereas Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, those are not search engines. YouTube is a part of Google, meaning that there's a search bar at the top. You can search for the topic you're looking for and videos will come up. Now, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can kind of do that using hashtags to search for content, but it doesn't work quite the same way. YouTube is a place for evergreen content, and this means that on YouTube you can create content that is still relevant years from now and content that will still pop up in search years from now, whereas that doesn't usually happen for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Usually if you're searching by hashtag, you see posts that have most recently used those hashtags. So that's why it's a little different. That's why I prefer it more. I feel like that's a really strong way to build your platform, is by creating that evergreen content and learning stuff about search engine optimization. But that's actually like a whole nother book. In fact, if you want to learn more about SEO and all of that stuff, we have another book in the Marketing for Authors series, which is called Grow Your Author Platform. That is book 2 in the series. So really just check out the entire Marketing for Authors series. It will be linked down below. But that's the quick 1-2 on YouTube. Now, Pinterest, again, is another search engine, but it just works different from YouTube. So YouTube, you're looking up videos. Pinterest, you're looking up pins. So it's people who curate pins on their Pinterest board. I personally, for every YouTube video I create, I pin it on my Pinterest board, and I sometimes will also do that for my Instagram Reels or my IGTV videos. I just find creating pins with beautiful graphics is a great way to reach a new set of eyes on the internet. And notice I said graphics. So on Instagram, photos work best, whereas if you posted just a photo on Pinterest, it might not get as much traction as if you created a nice, beautiful graphic with text saying what that pin is about. Because basically what you want to do is, say you have a blog post that you created, and then you create a graphic to go with that blog post, and then you pin the blog on Pinterest. So if someone sees that graphic, they click on it and they visit your website. Now, if you just have a photo and the graphic doesn't say what the photo is all about, what the blog is all about, no one has any reason to go ahead and click on that pin. So Pinterest, you have to create these graphics that are visual, and there's a little bit of search engine optimization going on at Pinterest as well. So I just wanted to point out how YouTube and Pinterest are different in that sense. And again, if you want to learn more about Pinterest, be sure to check out the second book in the series, Grow Your Author Platform. Next up, we have Goodreads. So Goodreads, I like to think of it as Facebook, but for readers. You can say what you're currently reading, you can update your status, you can rate books there, you can join Goodreads groups to meet other readers. There's a lot going on at Goodreads. Now, the important thing to note is that Goodreads is for readers. It's not for authors. So because of that, some authors may not enjoy being on Goodreads because you see all your reviews there, and I have noticed there's been a pretty strong pattern of reviews for books on Goodreads being way harsher than reviews for books on Amazon, and I could go into detail as to why that is, but just know that's usually the case, is that if you look at ratings for books, they tend to be lower on Goodreads than if you look at ratings for Amazon, where it tends to be slightly higher. But again, for that reason, writers may find it harder to be present on Goodreads because you don't necessarily want to be face-to-face with your harsh critics. But if you can learn how to use Goodreads as a tool to sell your books, it's incredibly valuable. And the best part about Goodreads is that because it's for all books, it kind of fits for all genres. I'm sure there's some genres where it's more relevant, like I'm sure Goodreads tends to have younger readers because they're the type of readers that would want to document their reading online, whereas I'm sure the older demographic doesn't really care about documenting their reading and what they've read this year and how many pages, all of that. So I'm sure Goodreads is still better for younger demographics, but Goodreads still does have a little bit of everything. Next, let's talk about TikTok. So TikTok is the newest social media platform to join this list, and it is possibly the most valuable. Obviously, there is a growing trend in short content. I mean, we saw it first with TikTok, but then we saw Instagram go ahead and create Instagram Reels, and now we're seeing YouTube create YouTube Shorts. So everyone is liking this short video content. Everyone is consuming so much short video content. TikTok is the central hub of this, so it tends to be the place where it's easiest to go viral. And when I say it's easy to go viral, I don't quite mean it's like easy, but I would say it's the easiest platform to go viral on if you know how to use it correctly. Now, I admire TikTok, but I haven't quite gotten the groove yet. Like, I know the basics of it, but I also am painfully aware of how in the loop I am when it comes to TikTok. But if you use TikTok properly, and by that I mean you follow trends and are the first one to hop on trends, then I can guarantee you will have a very good time on TikTok. TikTok also has a huge reading community on there, and once you find the reading community, you won't be able to unfind it. And the TikToks are incredibly engaging. If you want to check out some of them, just be sure to check out the hashtag book talk on TikTok, and I'm sure you'll find plenty of stuff to look at. So that's all the platforms, the quick overview of them, which one is the best. And you're gonna hate me for saying this, but the best platform varies from person to person and from book to book, because it really depends on what genre your book is, what type of content you enjoy consuming, and what type of content you enjoy creating. It also depends on how often you want to post, and so many other factors, so let's go into that. Your first factor is going to be what your ideal reader is. Now, I've talked about the ideal reader a lot, but mostly I've talked about it in the third book in the Marketing for Authors series, Book Sales That Multiply. There's an entire chapter just talking about how to figure out who your ideal reader is. And if you don't know what an ideal reader is, it's basically the reader that is designed for your book. It's the person that will read your book, who will be obsessed with your book, who will write 5-star reviews of your book. That is your ideal reader, and you want to find as many of them as possible. So the first step is figuring out who your ideal reader is. So you can do that by either reading Book Sales That Multiply, the third book of the Marketing for Authors series, or you can check out the Book Launch Planner, which has a little template that you fill out to figure out who your ideal reader is. And once you know who your ideal reader is, you can figure out where they are present online, whether that be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Goodreads, all of that. Odds are they might be in a few places, which is why I have a few other things you should ask yourself when you're trying to figure out what social media platform you want to be on. The first thing you got to ask yourself is, what is your comfort zone? You know, are you the type of person who's okay with being on camera? Because if you're okay with being on camera, then maybe YouTube would be good for you. Maybe TikTok, but you know, TikTok you might have to do some acting. I think that's why I struggle with TikTok, because I made one where I had to act all dramatic and I hated it and I deleted it. So if you don't like dancing on camera, TikTok might not be for you. If you don't like pretending to act, TikTok might not be good for you. But if you're the type of person who wants to be, you know, you don't want to be on camera, maybe you could try out Instagram, where you're just taking pictures of books or doing videos of books, different things like that. You don't need to be on camera for Instagram, and same with Facebook. You might be able to get by with not being on camera. Most importantly, you want to figure out what type of content you like to consume, because if you don't like scrolling through TikTok, odds are you're not going to enjoy creating TikTok videos, because the best way to create TikTok videos is to consume TikTok videos, see what the trends are, and hop on those trends. So if you aren't consuming TikTok, it's going to be hard to create TikToks. But if you're the type of person who loves scrolling through Instagram, you're probably going to enjoy creating content for Instagram a lot more. And you will also learn that the key to social media is not just creating the perfect image or the perfect graphic. It's really about consistently showing up long term, because you're not going to grow on social media and sell books on social media in a week. It's something that's going to take months and months of build up to do. Which is why it's super important that whatever platform you choose to work on is a platform that you enjoy, so you can keep it up long term. You also have to think about how many times a day do you want to post. Do you want to post multiple times a day? Do you want to post once a day? Or do you want to post once a week? If you're okay with posting multiple times a day, TikTok or Twitter could be for you. If you want to post once a day, Instagram might be for you. If you want to post once a week, YouTube might be for you. When it comes to choosing a platform, I also want to just put it out there that it's best to choose 1 or 2 to focus on, maybe 3. But if you focus on too many platforms at once, you're going to stretch yourself thin, and you're not going to find growth at all, and you're not going to sell books because you're just trying to be in too many places at once. So my suggestion to you, if you have like 0 to no experience right now, choose 1, try it out for a couple weeks, and if you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, and you want to, you know, extend out a little more, then add another social media platform onto your plate. But just don't try to do everything. Try to choose the one that is calling to you, the one that you feel most comfortable on, and the one that you have ideas to post content on. If you think to yourself, oh, I want to be on Pinterest, like I feel like I could do really well on Pinterest, but you don't have any ideas of what type of content to post, then why choose Pinterest, where you might have ideas for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, one of those. I also want to remind you that your goal is, again, not to grow and not to go viral, which, you know, is nice, it's great, but we want to sell books. So don't try to get so distracted by all the tutorials online and all the tips online. Try to just focus on the end of the day, you want to sell books. And if being on this social media platform doesn't do that, then maybe you need to choose a different one where the audience is maybe more accurate to your book, or the content you create is more accurate to your book. You also have to be prepared to jump on new features. Now, we don't see new features happen a lot on every single platform, but boy, is it relevant for Instagram. Instagram used to be easy. You would just post photos and that was it. But they've actively really just thrown us through a loop. Now there's live streams that you can do on Instagram. There's IGTV, which you can do on Instagram, and now there's Instagram Reels. So they're always adding new features on, and while it may seem frustrating when it first happens, if you are one of those few people that is the first to jump on it, you can find a lot of growth by doing that, because Instagram wants to promote creators who are trying out the new features, so you need to make sure that you are one of those creators. And my last tip to you will be to just start knowing that you're not going to be perfect. Just start knowing that your photos on Instagram are going to be ugly, or your videos on TikTok are going to be awkward, or your lighting in your YouTube video is going to be dark. I need you to start, because you're not going to get better until you start doing it. And it's the same for writing. Your first book is never going to be your best book. Your best book is always going to be your most recent book. So for that reason, you just have to keep writing. And for social media, you have to keep posting, because the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Now, all the tips you heard me talk about today are actually from this chapter right here, secret number 1, choosing your platforms and finding your ideal reader. So if you want to know more tips that are in this lovely book that released today, be sure to buy it. It will be linked down below. And also be sure to pre-order the next book and the final book in the Marketing for Authors series, Plan a Profitable Book Launch. And if you want to read the entire series, it will be linked down below. The series includes Book 1, How Your Book Sells Itself, Book 2, Grow Your Author Platform, Book 3, Book Sales That Multiply, Book 4, Secrets to Selling Books on Social Media, and finally, Book 5, Plan a Profitable Book Launch. I'm so glad we are finally wrapping this series up. If you're an author on social media, be sure to comment down below letting me know which platform is your favorite to post on, and maybe a few social media tips you have for everyone in the comments, so we can all share with each other our little social media secrets, as we call them. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe. I will see you all next week.